So I just want to show everybody this. Oh, y'all probably can't see that because of the glare. But he sent me his script, so I'm looking at it on my second phone. So the first thing is that it looks like it's going to be an easy enough read. So I'm not going to be turned off by that, right? A lot of times scripts are very, very dense, and that dense script will say to an executive or say to a reader that this is going to take a long time. Readers and executives are not cozying up to your script in a corner like they do with a book. You know what I'm saying? They don't have X amount of weeks or even X amount of days to read your script. They only have a few minutes to get through it. So the fact that I have a lot of white space here makes me feel like it's something that I can like get into really quickly and then go ahead and get out of it. All right. And I love that I get tone and voice immediately. This is what's going to make me keep reading. So I'm going to tell you guys what I see. Interior, 3 hot cots, morning. First line says, a raggedy ass office. That gives me tone. That gives me voice. And that says to me, okay, this might be a funny read. It might end up not being a funny story, but at least there's a little bit of a voice in there, right? And it also tells me what the space looks like without over directing, right? You can tell me it's a raggedy ass office, and then you allow your set designer to make what that is. You don't have to give every single adjective and color and object in the room. So good with that. We're in Atlanta, Georgia in 2023. All right. So this is a period piece just because it's 2 years back. So the first thing I'm going to think as an executive is, why does it need to be 2023? Not that I'm asking Rashid these questions. I'm just saying out loud what I would be thinking, right? Why does it need to be 2023? So as I'm reading, I'm going to ask myself, does this need to be 2023 or can it be 2025? If it needs to be 2023, what does that mean for budget? It might not mean much because that's just 2 years in the past. But if it were a larger gap in time and it was like 10 years in the past, then now you're thinking about different budgets because you have to have different things that align with that time period, right? So we're only 2 years in the past. So this could mean that this was something that was written a few years ago. And so it's just an older writing sample, or it can mean that it's an actual period piece. And because of what's happening in the story, it needs to take place in 2023. All right, here we go. Restaurant running Wrangler enthusiast Hank Ingram, age 55, slouches at his desk, one hand beneath, digging for something. All right, so we get a visual immediately. So one of the things that I teach when I'm teaching screenwriting is, what is our opening image? What is the first thing we're going to see? When that camera opens and you say fade in, I see this raggedy ass office, and then I see Hank Ingram, who's at his desk slouching with one hand beneath, digging for something. So that's a visual. My mind can create that, right? Then Abayo Wakefield, 24, Afro American, get shit doneologist, waits to be interviewed. She stares at his head, phone clutching, calm but desperate. Beneath the desk, reveal. Hank's hand wades in a colorful, watery portal. It's spectacular. Could be alien blood. ABO can't see it, desk blocking. Regardless, her mind spirals, wild with bills. She probably wouldn't care. Hank offers a teeming smirk. ABO smirks back like this, and then we get like an image of what it looks like. He pulls a fresh pack of 1950s Camel cigarettes out of the portal, and it melts closed with a quiet sparkle. He looks down at the carton, marveling, damn near cries, sets it down on the desk. Then Hank says, "You're wanting to be a waitress?" ABO says, "Yes, sir," but she's shaking her head no, or she's meaning no. We have in parentheses no as a parenthetical, which could tell the actor that you're thinking no, but you're saying yes. So how do you deliver that line? Also tells the reader the same information. He swivels, and then, behind him, a flawless record player, same era as his SIGs. He puts the needle down. The Zone by The Weeknd featuring Drake plays softly. Another thing I'm going to think is, do we have the budget for this? Right? We're talking about music. A lot of the times, screenwriters will include music for tone. They will include music so people can feel what they want them to feel. when executives and producers read screenplays and they see music, the first thing they think is money. So just put that in y'all's minds. Or, in other words, a sexy, moody, ghostly, detached, ballad whispers. Hank swivels easier. He blesses Evio's application paperwork with a once-over. I will give you a ring-a-ding-ding, Hank says. Evio's body shifts, eager for him to say more. He doesn't. He stares, brows lifted, itching to smoke. Oh, okay. But then, tell you what, slide back in about an hour. We'll get you oriented. Bring your no slips. Schedule will be ready tomorrow. Sounds good. So there is a little bit of phonetic spelling in the script, which is totally fine. What I say to screenwriters is you don't want to use phonetic spelling too much because you want the reader to be able to understand what you're writing. So the best way to help an actor or a reader understand how someone talks is to use it sparingly and then give us information in their description or in the action that lets us know like where they're from or what kind of person they are so that the actor can then have something to go off of with how they would speak the lines,
Right.
right?
I thought Wrangler enthusiasts would have did that because Wrangler jeans, obviously you're
Yeah,
redneck.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you tell me Wrangler jeans, then I'm thinking, okay, he might be a little southern, maybe, a little cowboyish, maybe. And then we get a few little things like the word schedule has apostrophe LL. So instead of schedule will or the schedule will, we get scheduler, right? Which tells us a lot about how he speaks. We don't have to do that with every single word in the sentence. Now you get to a place where the reader is like, what? Because we don't all phonetically spell things the same, depending upon what region we come from, what our ethnicities are, et cetera, et cetera. We don't even spell slang words the same way, right?
Right.
So if you decide to do that with every single word in the sentence, now you make the read harder. You think that you're giving them information about how the character speaks, and instead you're frustrating people because they can't read.
Yeah, we tried to be careful with that. We really did.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so she says, sounds good. They rise. ABO throws her jacket on, grabs her purse. Hank fumbles for a cigarette, tucks it behind his ear. She nods, appreciative. He, Candyman Kruger Jr., level smiles her out. Ooh. And the music from his record follows her like elastic arms. Into the hallway, ABO barrels through. Exterior, three hot cots. So now she's on the outside. She bursts out the front door. Sunshine mocks her. Gorgeous leaves careen in gusty wind. And a liquor store glows from across the street. ABO quivers, halted, brain tussling a barbaric thirst. She folds. Crosswalk. She's passing the crosswalk. Cars are passing. She traipses across. Now she's outside of the liquor store. She reconsiders, brows burning with indecision. The neon open sign flickers, testing her resolve. It's broken like her. This is written in a way where it is giving the reader the information they need and also giving the actor the information that they need to play this, right? We got the sun mocking her, which means it's hot outside. It's Georgia, right? Then we already know that she was kind of nervous and had a lot on her mind while she was in the interview. And she comes outside and there's a liquor store across the street and she tries to fight it, can't, goes across the street and then hesitates again. So that gives us information without somebody saying out loud, she has an alcohol problem, or because she might not have an alcohol problem, she might just be having a bad day. You know what I mean? It could be either one of those things. But the information that we're getting is there's something happening here with her and alcohol. We'll learn over the course of the script, the series, the film, whatever it is, what that actually is. But you don't have to give us every single detail in the moment that we meet the person. You just give it to us in sprinkles. We're smart. We're watching it, we're reading it, we're getting it. I don't have to know what her actual relationship is with alcohol. I just know it seems to be a negative one. That's the only information that I need at this point in the script.
And her
All right.
name is pronounced Abeyo.
Thank
You
you.
want to stop you.
Thank you. Abeyo. Okay, here we go. So Abeyo reconsiders, brows burning with indecision. The neon open sign flickers, testing her resolve. It's broken like her. So we're told here that she's broken. Hipsters float by, not giving a damn what she does. She sucks a deep breath, exhales, and she goes inside. Interior liquor store, brightly lit, refrigerators humming low so we can hear it, right? We know what that sounds like when we enter places. So we're getting things for our senses. And very concisely, your job as a screenwriter is to be concise. Okay, I don't know how many times I can say that. That's your job. Your job is to be concise. It's not a novel. But listen to these very short, concise sentences and see just how much information you're getting. Everything is ignited. All of your senses are ignited. But it doesn't take long sentences to do that, right? So good job at that. Which again tells the executive, oh, I can get through this real quick. I can read this before I go to my next, meeting or whatever it is, right? It's something they can get through. Okay. I'm just gonna go to the end of this page and then we'll stop. Because I believe I'm on page, okay, it's saying page 5, but that's because of the title page and the other page. All right. Interior store. Abeo rockets straight to the counter, locked on the minis. Everybody knows what the minis are. The cashier stands to his feet, inclined to flirt. Abstains. Thank you, cashier. We appreciate you abstaining. Abeo pulls 5 Jose Cuervo gold minis out of the plexiglass. Not 5. He rings her up. She goes for her wallet, not enough cash, and no card. Apple Pay it is. Which means we just got to see her look through her purse, realize she doesn't have these things, right? So that's action for your actor, right? It's not just, oh, we watch her go into her purse. Those are not the words on the page, but those are the actions she's going to take because we have to see her go through no cash, no card, Apple Pay. That means look through your purse, pull out your phone. That's action for her. She taps her phone on the machine reader. A flashy green check approves. So great job. What an executive will usually do is read about 15 pages before they decide to keep reading. If it's television, that might be closer to 10 because usually once you're getting to the end of Act 1 in a television episode, we should be at the inciting incident. If we're reading a screenplay for a feature film, by the time we get around page 15, we should be getting to the inciting incident. So they are reading those first 10 to 15 pages to see you set up the world, set up your characters, set up your tone, and then get to the point of like, all right, so why are we here? Right? Like, what are we here to witness? We got these people, excuse me, and these both seem like very interesting people, right? They're definitely characters. And we haven't gotten to the place where we know where it's going just yet because I've stopped reading 4 pages in. And some producers out there, usually not executives, usually not, but some producers out there will only give you a page or two to hook them. And I think that because your voice is so clear and the world and the writing is very clear and concise and yet still, like I said before, speaks to all the senses, they would continue reading. Now, what's going to happen when they continue reading? Who knows? Right? But I think that these first few pages are done well enough that it shows who you are as a writer, right? What your voice is. And a lot of the times when they're reading, they're not just reading to make your thing. They're reading because they hire writers for stuff all the time, right? And they need to have a mental Rolodex. Hopefully all of us are old enough to know what a Rolodex is. They have a mental
Yeah, I missed that
Rolodex
word.
of
That's
great
one of my
writers.
favorite words.
Is it? Yeah. They have a mental Rolodex of great writers that they can call on when they need people. So that's why you should always look at everything you read as a writing sample, even if it's something that you want to get produced. It may or may not get produced, but the more people who read it, the more people who understand your tone, your voice, the kind of things you like to write, etc., the more opportunities you have to be booked, and then the more you're booked, the closer you get to making your own stuff any kind of way you want to make your own stuff. Anyway. So thank you, Rashid, for sharing. I really enjoyed your first
Oh
few
my
pages.
God. Thank you. I appreciate you. I watch your videos all the time.
Oh,
This
awesome.
is amazing. Like I learned a
Awesome.
lot from you. So
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
First of all, I found you just by happen to stroll.
Yes.
Such a great content.
Thank
I think
you.
for me, um, I'm afraid to pitch to those platforms. So
Gotcha.
I am a stage playwright,
Hmm.
producer from Chicago, and I've written about 14 stage plays. We've had great traction with it. And
Mhm.
so during the pandemic, I decided that I was going to dibble and dabble in film. I've never had any experience in none of this, so I don't know half of the information for that. And
Uh-huh.
so I did. I did a 65-minute film,
Okay.
and it's currently on Amazon Prime,
Oh,
Tubi,
yes.
and a number of platforms. I went through, of course, Film Hub. However, it's been good to me as a
Good.
somebody who's never done it.
Hmm.
And so it's been a interesting process, but a very good process. I've tripled what we spent on the film.
Hey.
And so I've already written two films, converted them to stage play, converted into a film.
Hmm.
And I have it, so it's a two-part film. It's called Christmas with the Westinghouse and the Westinghouse Wedding. And I could talk about it
Okay.
because I have the copies for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm thinking about filming them and then pitching them or pitching just the script. So I
Okay.
didn't know which one was best.
What
Or
outcome are you looking for?
I never really got that far into thinking that on that line. The
Okay.
truth is, I wanted to pitch them to Hallmark
Okay.
because I see them as this. That's what I feel they are, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the stage play, but again, I take my writing to just uplift and motivate
Hmm.
and inspire African American men.
Uh-huh.
And so I love to
African American men.
yes,
Okay. Hmm.
yes. And so I love to put them in amazing roles, have them as wealthy men, great husbands, all of the above. And so I was thinking about pitching it to like Hallmark, because again, they're love stories, like
Hmm.
they're that. But I don't know if that's my so to answer the question, that would be my outcome. Is
Okay.
that I would pitch it to that particular platform.
Okay. If you want to pitch to Hallmark, then you would want to pitch the script, not the produced work.
Okay.
Because Hallmark makes Hallmark stuff,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So it's not like Amazon where they would, take something and just distribute it only.
Okay.
Hallmark doesn't tend to do that. Hallmark makes Hallmark stuff. So that means you need to get in with just the script and then they would develop it, whether they work with you or they bring in a Hallmark writer. So I used to be a consultant for Hallmark. Hallmark is very strict,
Oh, okay.
very strict. They have a lot of rules because they know exactly who their audience is.
Yes.
So if they liked the idea of it and they were to bring you on, they would likely redevelop, right, to make sure that it fits for Hallmark. Now, that's what happens no matter where you pitch.
Okay.
Everybody's going to put their stamp on it. Everybody's going to put their brand on it, their mandate on it, their audience on it, which is why we cannot be so connected to it like it's our baby, because the point is you have now brought another parent in and you're not the parent yourself anymore, right? You have remarried. There is now a man living in this house and he has a say so too,
Yeah.
right? So that's what happens when you pitch your script to any of these production companies, studios, networks, wherever they are. The great thing is Hallmark is all of that in one, so at least you won't be getting contradictory notes from several different other places,
Okay.
right? But yeah, so you would go the script route
Yeah.
to see if that's something that they would be interested in, and then they would then develop it and take it from there.
Yeah. I think that that's what my problem is because I have some great mentors,
Mhm.
and they connected me to someone. And then that's when I found out that Netflix has multiple distribution, and the one that they connected me to, was a distribution in Colombia.
Mm.
And so that was his saying. He was, because I wrote a TV series as well during the pandemic.
Mhm.
off of a stage play as well, Tamar, which is the biblical story of David's daughter, but I put it into a TV series fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the same thing, that I was too connected to the work.
Yeah.
And the first thing he was like, it's like, oh, this is a great storyline. However, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, LMNOP, change this, change that. And then I instantly was like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, are you saying it's not good enough? And then I, like the way you said it, like they're the other parent
It's
coming
your
in and
parent.
they have this
Yeah.
say.
This is a
And I was,
collaborative industry,
yeah,
and everybody's job is to bring something to the table.
yeah,
Can you imagine giving Denzel Washington a script and saying, only read what's on the page, don't do one extra thing, right? You're taking his creative license away.
yeah,
And he's brilliant. So you trust him with your script. And the same thing is true for whoever that producer is, that director is, that executive is, whoever they are. You have to trust that they know what they're doing and they're going to make your thing that much better. Here's another example. When HBO decided to work with Issa Rae because of Awkward Black Girl on as a web series, what Issa Rae wanted to develop it into was not Insecure. It was an executive who said to her, no, it's not this thing you're working on. It's actually this thing. That's what became Insecure. So
yeah,
if Issa Rae would have been like, no, it's my idea. I'm perfect. Everything that comes out of my brain is what it should be. Nobody else can give me any notes. Nobody else can have any opinions. We wouldn't have Insecure. So even though that's not your intention, it's simply that you are the writer and we're sensitive about our stuff. You're the artist. So you're not intending to not want to be a collaborator. You have just been living with these characters forever and feel like nobody knows them better than you do. But when you watch TV, don't you think you know those characters?
Mhm.
Like if somebody was talking about your favorite TV show or your favorite movie, you'd be in there. No, she wouldn't do that. She would have done this. And that's what the rest of us are doing in the film
yeah,
industry. When we read something that we like and we enjoy, we start to go, oh, well, they should do this. And it feels like this and blah, 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 blah. And you have to be open to that. And it's not that sometimes it won't be the wrong choice, because sometimes it will be,
yeah, yeah,
right? But you got your check, you got your credit, and you live to do this again. If you don't let them do their part, you don't get to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to take the L's where the L's come so that you can get to the W's and do it over and over and over and over again. But if
yeah,
you don't want to, that's okay too. You just have to do it independently, like you're doing now.
yeah,
Either way, you're asking people for money. The question
yeah,
is, are you asking the Hollywood studios for money, or are you asking banks, grants, personal relationships, etc. for money? You just have to decide which group of people you want to ask money from.
yeah,
The difference is if you ask from Hollywood, you're going to get opinions, but on the non-Hollywood side, they have opinions too, and they don't even know what they're talking about
that's true.
because they're not in the industry. And they're like,
That's
well, I
true.
think it should be a dog in there. What's that have to
Yeah,
do with anything? At least
yeah.
the industry people are thinking about
Knows
the story.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I appreciate that. And I know I'm too emotionally connected, which is why I just kind of just stick to the sideline and say, hey, from the stage plays, we'll just take the money and do the films, right?
Yeah. And if
Um,
that's working for you, that's fine. That's a path. But if
yeah,
you want that bigger thing, you got to let go. You have to be willing to let go.
thank you.
You're welcome. It's a hard thing to do, but that's just the truth of it. You got to be willing to let go. You got to trust. You just have to trust. And again, it's okay if you get burned, but you'll just never know if you don't try. Like if you have
Yes.
something, that's good for more people to see that may miss it if you do it on your own. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Just
yeah,
because obviously Hallmark has a wider reach or whatever it is.
yeah.
But yeah, just gotta let go.
I appreciate that.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
And that's it. Want more content? Like, subscribe, and for notifications. Get notes on your script that get you unstuck at www.theprofessionalpen.com. I'm out.